This is Library Nerds with Words, the podcast that gives you the word on all the cool, nerdy happenings at Peter White Public Library and the library universe beyond. From books and concerts to search engines and story times, the library nerds are in and ready to show you that being a nerd can be cool. Get ready, get set, get nerdy. We are back for another episode of Library Nerds with Words, the podcast that gives you the word on all the cool things happening at Peter White Public Library and the library universe beyond, straight from the mouths of those who know it best, library nerds. My name is Marty Ackitts, and I'm the Adult Programming Coordinator for Peter White, and joining me this week in the Nerd Hall of Fame is the Head of Youth Services, Sarah Rehborg. Welcome back to the podcast, Sarah.
Thanks, Marty.
You know, I'm always excited to get a little nerdy with you, Sarah. We've been trying to set this chat up for a little while, but things are always so busy at Youth Services. It's difficult to find moments when you aren't doing anything and when I'm not doing anything. So there's so much going on at YS, from story times to concerts to slime time to children's author visits, and now reading the tea leaves for this summer. It looks like those things aren't going to be slowing down. Yes, that is a clue as to what Sarah will be talking about a little later in the podcast. But before we get into what's on your mind, Sarah, we have to play another round of Word on the Nerd, the game where I find out a little bit more about my guest nerds. And you know how this goes. I'm going to ask you 3 library nerd questions about yourself, and you have to answer them for the listeners. So, Sarah, are you ready to play
Word on the Nerd?
Sarah, as always, this is going to be a little game of Would You Rather. I'm going to ask you 3 Would You Rather questions, and you have to truthfully answer them. And all of your questions today have to do with summer and books. So here is your first question. Would you rather go sailing with Max from Maurice Sendak Where the Wild Things Are? Or would you rather spend the day touring Willy Wonka's chocolate factory?
I think definitely sailing the sea with Max.
Sailing? Why?
Oh, water. Willy Wonka is crazy.
You think Willy Wonka's crazy?
Willy Wonka is crazy.
But think of all that good chocolate and everything that
yes,
you get.
he turns children into, like...
blueberries.
He is the most irresponsible adult, of all time in children's literature. Not of all time, but pretty darn close.
Yeah, but you have monsters with Max, but they're nice monsters.
They are nice monsters.
All right, well, I would go in the opposite direction. You know me and chocolate, so I would definitely go with Willy, so, all right. Well, the questions may get a little harder from here on out, so here's your second question. Would you rather go on a summer vacation to New Zealand to visit the set from the Shire of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or would you rather go on a vacation to England to visit the castles where Harry Potter movies were filmed?
Oh my gosh, that's a terrible question.
I know it's a terrible. That's just why I asked it.
When you said the Shire, I was like, well, obviously the Shire, but then you said
castles. Also
in England, I could see all the Doctor Who stuff.
Yes, you could.
But New Zealand would be awesome also.
One or the other.
Oh, dear. Let's say New Zealand because I don't like people very much. I don't like crowds. And one of my coworkers was just in England, and she said, Sarah, you would have hated it. There were crowds everywhere.
Way too many people, yeah. That's what I've heard about England, and especially London and that. It's just way too crowded. I have a friend who lives in New Zealand, and he, lives in this little room, and there's sheep around him, and that's it, you know? All right, well, it's the Shire for you. Okay, so here's your last question. Would you rather go on a vacation where you are forbidden to read any books? Okay. Or would you rather go on a vacation where all you could do was read books?
How long does this vacation last?
Oh boy, you're getting specific. 2 weeks.
Oh geez. I love books, but maybe not 2 weeks worth of nonstop reading.
Okay. So
I would maybe have to go with not reading books. Because you said reading, you didn't say anything about audiobooks.
I didn't say anything about audiobooks. So
there we go.
Is listening to audiobooks the same as reading, do you think?
I mean, we let it count during summer reading.
Yeah.
I think so, because there are folks out there for whom reading is a really big challenge, but audiobooks is something that they can do.
Just
so
works
it's
really
absorbing the content,
Yeah.
Just in a slightly different way.
Yeah, you're using a technicality
Yes, I am.
to get away with it.
Yes, I am. I work with children. What do you think?
I agree with you. You know, my son would do stuff like that with me too. He'd be like, well, what about if I do this? And he looks for the little loopholes.
The little loophole.
Yes. All right. Well, I would go with not reading too, because I just don't think I could sit for 2 weeks
I
straight.
could
That's
not
long.
ride my bike for 2 weeks. That's too long.
All right. Well, we have come to the end of this special summary edition of Word on the Nerd, this time with Sarah Rehborg, Director of Youth Services here at Peter White Public Library. And now the time has come to find out what is on your mind today, Sarah. It's a little segment we like to call The Word. Sarah, what would you like to talk about today?
Well, obviously, summer reading.
Summer reading.
Yep. You know, we're busy all year long, but summer reading is when we kick it into overdrive. And our kickoff is actually this Saturday, just 2 days away here. So this is when we just go nonstop for 8 weeks.
Wow. Yeah. And the kids just come pouring through the doors
they
the day for the summer reading kicks off.
I anticipate we'll have about 400 people through the kids room. People, not just kids, because a lot of adults come with their children, obviously. But on kickoff day, we have 400 to 600 people come through the kids room. So.
And what do the kids have to do for summer reading?
So for the reading portion of summer reading, you register online. And then as soon as you're able, stop by the library, pick up your reading sheet. You can start reading before that and just keep track of it. And all we ask is that the kids read, are read to, or listen to audiobooks at least 10 different days before each book fair. Okay. And there are 3 book fairs this summer, and at each book fair, the kids get to choose a free book to keep. I got so many graphic novels, all the graphic novels. Lots of picture books. You know, we have books for kids all the way up through 8th grade. Okay. The summer reading program for kids is up through age 14. Okay. So that's the reading portion, along with we have our Reader Hall of Fame for kids who want to track how much reading they do. They get their name engraved onto a plaque that we have down here. All right. The top 5 readers of the summer. And you only get it once in your lifetime. So
once you do it,
that's it.
Now surprise me. What was the top number last year?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. It's a lot. It's like some of these kids do nothing but read all day, every day. 8 hours of reading every day.
So we're talking more than 100.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
200?
Probably, or more. We'll have to go look at the plaque on our way up.
We'll look.
Yeah.
Well, and if you want
to, in the comments,
and if you want to see the plaque, you can come in and look at it.
Yeah, we've been doing it this will be our 4th year, it looks like.
Wow.
So.
Okay. So, wow, that's a lot of books to read.
That is a lot of reading.
But you know what? It's great. I mean, it just encourages the kids to get into reading in whatever form they can get into reading. And, of course, you got all kinds of other stuff going on this summer, too. Besides summer reading, you know, you have the Bubble
Splash is at the end of July into August. You know, kickoff is going to be a massive Lego and building day. So we're just going to have the community room full of Legos. We're going to have a giant marble maze, some construction stuff, some other building with straws, things like that. Yeah. And then the Bergonzi String Trio are coming back, and they're a great one. They're coming in a couple of weeks. We love Bergonzi. We're doing a big Pokemon Day this summer. Right. 3 hours of Pokemon. Pokemon is huge. Yes. Kids love it. Lego Club is going to be every Friday for 2 hours. Okay. We're taking our story time out to the park again. Ohio Street. Yep.
And if it's raining, then
we'll just be here.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. So that's a really fun story time. That's for kids of all ages. We only have one story time a week during the summer. Okay. We're gonna have a big art project during the art fair. It'll be an installation in our windows down here. The kids will be making prisms using acrylic pours. Oh, nice. And then we'll be making garlands to be like sun catchers. And then the kids will get to pick up their created piece at the end of the summer if they want. What else fun is going on? Pet Partners come back in July. We love reading to the dogs. Yes. That'll be outside if we're able to with that construction going on in front.
Well, I'm keeping
my
fingers crossed.
You can do a whole podcast just about that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Alien Slime.
Oh, always popular.
We're going to do one full day of slime.
Oh, boy. You can't have a summer without slime. You really can't.
I know.
And I love watching the day that you have the bubble, splash, splash. I just... how much they get into it.
That's so much fun. Yeah. Yeah, so there's gonna be an instrument petting zoo. Really excited about family back to school bingo. Everybody who comes to that, every kid should be able to win at least one back to school supply prize.
Oh, wow.
We bought lots of really cool prizes thanks to the Friends of the Peter White Public Library.
We love the Friends.
Yes, we do. And then, as Marty was saying, the Bubble Splash will have 2 events at the very end of summer. July and then into August, where it's just bubble and water play on the front steps, and we have a floamer that fills up an inflatable pool full of bubbles. The kids adore that thing, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just see kids just head to toe in bubbles.
Covered in bubbles.
It's like, that looks like a lot of fun. And I almost want to get down there with them and cover myself in bubbles. So. Wow, that's a lot of great stuff about what's going on here and youth services for summer.
Well, and the scavenger hunts. I didn't even mention.
Oh my gosh, the scavenger hunts.
The kids love the scavenger hunts so much.
I just saw a little girl going around looking for a snail somewhere.
Yeah, so this year we'll be doing, the theme this year is Adventure Begins at Your Library. So we're going around the world with our scavenger hunts again. The scavenger hunts will change every single week for 8 weeks. And the kids can get a passport, get their passport stamped, and then we have treats from each country that each week will be a different country.
Nice.
That the clues are based on. And they will get to try a little treat from that country, or we have non-food prizes for the kids who can't have food.
Wow, a treat from the country?
Yes.
So what? I can't even ask. I can't even ask because that would give it away.
Well, one is some sort of weird flavored Mentos. One is basically a pixie stick, but it's different. I think it's from Japan. Some of them are kind of weird tasting. Some of them the kids spit right back out because they don't like. But most of these ones look pretty good this year. I think they'll taste okay.
My wife got a whole box of candy from around the world.
Yeah. And
I would say 97% of it is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, we have very different versions of candy than the rest of the world. Oh my gosh,
and that's fine. That's fine, but I'll stick to our good old sweet candies that we have. Yeah. All right, well, there you go. That is the word on the summer happenings here in YS with Sarah Rehborg, the head of youth services at Peter White Public Library. But before I let you exit Nerd Junction, Sarah, we have to do one more thing. Okay. We have to find out what book has been keeping you up at night or distracting you during the day. It's a little thing on the podcast we call Off the Shelf. Sarah, what would you like to recommend to read today?
I just read a book called The Lost Library by Rebecca Stead.
Okay.
It is a kid's book. It's a fast read. The chapters are short, digestible, easily read. It was so good. It's told from the perspective of a little boy, a ghost, and a cat.
Ooh, that sounds really great.
And it's so good. And he's trying to solve this mystery about a little free library appears overnight in front of this house. And it gets him, he pulls a book out, and the books had been all returned by the same person on the same day. And that leads him to discovering that their local library burned down before he was born and was never rebuilt. So he got curious about it. It's so good.
And the ghost. How does the ghost play?
Don't give it away.
Okay, that would be a spoiler alert. Okay, so it's The Lost Library by Rebecca Stead. And if you want to find out about that ghost, you have to check out
the book. The cat.
And
orange
the cat.
Puffy cat.
The orange puffy cat. So,
yes.
You got to find out.
Who likes mice? He saves the mice.
Oh, he likes mice.
He gently escorts them out of the building.
Well, that's really nice. That's not me when it comes to mice. All right, well, that's it, folks. Sarah Rehborg's recommendation of a book you should pick up off the shelf. And that's also the end of this week's episode of Library Nerds with Words. Thanks again to Sarah Rehborg, Peter White Public Library's Youth Services Department Head, for hiking down the nerd trail with me today. Come back next week when I will be visiting with local history coordinator Kat Shattuck and also Lilith Marraro from the Reference Desk at PWPL, who are going to be talking about books and authors for Pride Month. Until that time, everyone, stay nerdy. Thank you for listening to Library Nerds with Words, Peter White Public Library's weekly podcast, giving you the word on what's cool at the library. The theme for the podcast is Happy Clappy by John Bartman, used courtesy of Pixabay. This episode was written and produced by Martin Acketts and sponsored by Peter White Public Library. Until next week, pick up a good book, listen to some good music, watch a good movie, attend a great event, and remember, library nerds are the coolest people around.